lot to offer. And one thing this whole process has taught me is sometimes we forget that they have so much to offer. I mean, I think if you ask any educator, talk about the potential of youth, they would tell you glowingly, well, kids can do anything. But we don't always ask them to do anything and everything. And sometimes we give them problems where it's like, solve this, and it's in a tight context because we want to make sure they get the right answer. But we don't always ask them what to do and how do you do it and let them go do it. So I think it's an important part of this process and why to let kids be change makers is to see what they can do and let them really try to do it on their own, which is sometimes hard to let them free. I was at a staff meeting. I said, who wants in? If no one wants in, that's fine, but who wants to try it? And I really only just gave them a short snippet. It was really just a video. I said, if you want to take what we've done for Youth Venture to a higher level, I said, I can't even explain what it is. Who wants in? And all you gotta do is just tell me your name and we're gonna kind of figure it out later. And that's how we ended really one year, and I had a whole list of people who wanted to go. And then the first time we got together, I said, listen, I don't know where this is gonna go. I can give you some parameters where it's gotta be within here. But if you want to try this, I'm interested and I'm going to go too. So I will go with you. So this is something you're going to have to come back on your own and teach everybody about it. I'll be there with you. And then it's just the same thing you say with kids. If you want to let them loose and let them fly, I did the same with my staff. Like, go ahead, you can do it, and we'll talk about it kind of after how it goes. I think if you're telling someone to do something, you got to be willing to do it yourself too. So I think for me, the hardest thing to do when I was doing this with the staff is try to do some of it on my own too, even though that's not always the spirit of change making, but I really wanted my staff to do it together, but I also wanted to try it too on my own to get a taste of it, what it's like. So that way I think you get a little more authenticity with your staff in terms of saying, hey, listen, I'm asking you to try this, but look, I tried it too. I kind of went out on the edge and tried to do something they're not always comfortable with doing. And I think if it's just leading by example. If you try it, then they're more willing to try too. So I think in terms of school-wide, I think if you walked in, you say, you're going to see it's at a totally different school. It's not. I mean, it's kind of, I think we're in the phrases where it's like pockets growing little bit by little bit by little bit. It's asking kids to do things and telling them, listen, you can do bigger and bigger and bigger things. With Youth Venture, we've done lots of projects they're big in scope, but they're not huge in scope. It's really, it's taking it to the next level. So I think when you speak with some teachers and some kids, it's a little bit of a different mindset, and that's hard to measure and hard to see. But now sometimes when you're asking kids to tackle big problems, they're more willing to do it. So if this is if I'm talking almost like principal to principal or principal to teacher, I guess it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. It's the idea, if it's a mindset and it's a philosophy, and this is how I really pitched it to my staff, was you're going to teach what you need to teach, and that's what I want you to do. With change making, you have an opportunity to take what you teach and be so excited about it that you go so far off in a different direction that you're going to look back and be like, oh my goodness, I'm so stressed out because I can't do all the things I need to do. But if it's a mindset, you've got everything you need to teach, and that mindset really just goes on the top of it. And that's it's the challenge of looking at what you do, how do you do it, and where are points in that lane where you can do something differently that the kids are gonna love and fly with. It's not gonna be every single day and every single project and every single lesson. It's gonna be where it makes sense and has the potential to do more. So when I pitched that to my teachers, then they were the ones who picked out where it made the most sense and where they could make the changes in that mind shift, knowing that I'm still going to do what I do and I know how to do that well. And since I know how to do that well, what more can I do? So it was given that flexibility and wiggle room instead of saying, in October we're going to do change making, or on the third novel this is what we're going to do. So they had some choice in how to get it done. One was we did a change making really professional development for kids, which is kind of a different thought. You do professional development for teachers, you don't usually do it for kids. We did a whole day with a series of activities, and it was almost the way I pitched to my staff: who's interested, who wants in, what is you got to smell for this, do you want to try it? And we brought a huge group of kids together and did a bunch of different activities, a lot of the same things we did as adults, and then said, what do you want to do? So kids have had some projects come out of that. I had one team of teachers, instead of like I think every middle school does a response to intervention block, like what do kids need to do, and we're going to help you do it. They took a day, I can't think if it was at least monthly, where they had their Changemaker projects, where they just did it during the set time. And I think it's no different than teachers. If you give them the time to do it, then they can do it. If you just say, good luck and figure it out, that's harder. But for our kids, they were given time and space and energy and facilitation of, what do you want to do? And here we'll help you get it done, but we're going to give you this hour to at least work on it. Where can we go from here if change making becomes that mindset for everybody? Like, I just spoke to a bunch of 8th grade kids about doing something, and tons of kids were excited about it. You know, it's hard because I didn't ask, like, you know, it's not scientific, but if you're asking kids, hey, do you want to do this? And people are willing to jump on board. I think change making has something to do with that, with kids really wanting to do something and wanting to make things better. So I would think so. For me, I'm in that interesting role of being the school principal and doing what we do here, and I've got kids that are at this same age. I know sometimes I look at what my kids come home with and say, gee, I wish they were asked, do you want to do this? Or just float it out or had the opportunity to, because I know they would want to, but they're never asked. And that hit me really this year, of all the kids, of the things I see going on in my building that kids are doing. And then I look at my own kids and like, I wish there was a mindset, a program, or something where they were just asked to do these things, because I'm sure they would love to. And even if they didn't, the value of them seeing what other kids are doing. After the shootings in Florida this year, I had all these kids doing these, you know, great things and projects, and then I'm looking at my own kid, and they knew what happened, but that was it, as opposed to kids getting together and writing things and doing things. I just wish that opportunity was in other places and other schools. So for me, my unique circumstance is I've been in the same building for 7 years. And I think when you're brand new, just like when you're a brand new teacher, there's only so much you could do at first. But I've been here long enough, and the culture is positive enough. It's what can we do within the things that we want to do that are going to make teachers who have been here a long time love what they do and even more. So I was watching all the videos about the teachers, about bringing all this joy back in teaching. I'm like, that's it. You know, I don't want my teachers to be stale. I don't want my teachers to not be excited because they're doing some of the same things with the same problems, even though it's different kids. It's what can we do to make this mass of teachers be even more excited to come to work every day. And I really think this has the potential to make you that much more excited about what you're doing. And when you have that much more joy in your teaching, your kids love it, it trickles down, and it's kind of everywhere. It takes an ecosystem to raise a change maker.